Oh no. Okay, next slide, please. So the most important thing I think I want to go through is the fact that what we did in this 12 months is engage with really important issues for us as women, for us as Jewish women, and for us as Australian women. So the first thing is we engaged with the 20th anniversary of the Security Council Resolution 1325 on women and the peace process. And we actually did that by having two separate webinars. One was about women in the public arena and representations of women. And the second was meeting Palestinian and Israeli peacemakers, talking about the importance of having women involved in the peace process. We were involved in an international conversation around the 20th anniversary, and our voice was heard. We were involved in the gendered impact of COVID. Well, I hope we weren't involved in making it worse and making the gendered impact worse. But we worked with other feminist organizations to look at things like the fact that homelessness now, the greatest number of people who are homeless are women over 50. We tried to intervene as we could. We ran a couple of webinars, and we also had some of the pieces we had writing were about COVID. I also took place in, it's not on here, but I took place in a multicultural statement about dealing with COVID and the importance of giving people support during that time. So that work came into our interfaith work. And also some of the other multicultural work was around aging and homelessness and a Jewish woman's perspective. Then, of course, the big issue for the year, or maybe it's always the big issue, is violence against women. And we were engaged in so many activities around violence against women. We did have some webinars, but we had a campaign around the 16 Days Against Violence, a social media campaign involving stories. We gave talks at schools. We gave talks at other places. I spoke at Limud about consent and the issue of consent. We participated in the March for Justice. We had an article in the Jewish News about it. We wrote to the Prime Minister and were one of the key players in the Equality Rights Alliance and Fair Agenda letters of protest around what was going on in Parliament, and looked at gang rape in Israel. And of course, now we've done the only thing that we can do, which is not very much, about Afghanistan. But in the light of the topic we've got to discuss tonight, that we should recognize that Taliban and Hamas are actually part of the same organization. And if we don't like what's going on with Afghanistan, we have to be aware of the dangers of having a militaristic and dangerous group in Palestine. We want peace, and we want women there to live well the same way as we want to live. And Afghanistan simply makes people like me cry. We worked so hard all those years ago, and we're where we are. But there's one thing that's important to note, and that is that the greatest correlation in society that exists is the correlation between the way women are treated, the status of women, and peace. It's the only thing that correlates with whether there's peace or not. It's the only measure. Countries where violence against women and women are treated with respect are the most likely countries to be democracies and safe places and not to be at war. That's the measure you can take. And if you want to watch a country declining and the risk of war, you take the measure of how women are being treated in that society. Next one, please. Of course, the issue of equality and representation has been on our agenda, and I have to pay homage to Victoria, the National Council of Women Victoria section, who ran the Make Space for Her campaign, which hopefully we'll be able to take further around the country. But we were able to introduce a policy on women's equality and discrimination to the ECAJ. So for the first time, they now have a policy dealing with equality. And we're working on a baseline survey to encourage women's inclusion in all Jewish community organizations. We sorry, the time has gone off my clock. Okay. We were involved with looking at gender responsive budgeting, at looking at the argument over providing spaces for women, women's safe spaces. We looked at online hatred, particularly in respect to anti-Semitism, but we're concerned with online hatred directed at women because that's been a massive issue in this last 12 months as well. Next slide, please. As Jewish women, we have some other issues. The first is the issue of women as religious leaders. Interestingly, of all the webinars we've run, we've had quite a number where we've had close to 200 or over 200. The only one we've had over 300 people attend was the one where Rabbinate Judith Leviton and Rabbi Elise Borgi spoke about being Orthodox women rabbis, and we're very lucky that Judith is joining us on the Board of National Council tonight. And so this conversation is one that's important to women in the Jewish community. There was the issue of the sexual abuse of women and girls in the Jewish community. We did a Malka Leifer debrief, wrote letters to the ambassador and were involved in educating people, not there yet. We engaged with the Jewish festivals, and we engaged with looking at equality and representation in the Jewish community, which is a repetition. Next slide. We looked at engaging with Israel in various ways. Our main strategy for engaging with Israel is to look at the position of women in Israel and see what women in Australia and women in the Jewish world have in common with Israel. We are abhorred by the violence that's directed against women, and there was one particular occasion where we had need to speak to the Israeli ambassador. We had, as the work I said on 1325, we have, of course, our representation on the Zionist Federation of Australia, and we ran a webinar on Yom Ha'atzmaut about women who made the State of Israel. And then we come to preserving our history in Australia, which is a very important thing. And we did a few different things. One is we looked at finding role models for women and using them as stories people could use during Sukkot to say, let's invite this interesting Australian woman into my sukkah this year. We are looking at a lot of Jewish history in different ways for the 100th anniversary. There are 3 or 4 different projects going on. I'll have more to report about them next year because they're not really anything more than quizzling at this stage. And then, of course, I mentioned anti-Semitism, but I didn't mention that I think this is one of the things I'm very proud of. There was recently a consultation in the community where only 3 or 4 groups were invited to be consulted, and National Council of Jewish Women was invited to be part of the consultation. So it was really quite an elite sort of moment for me that we had actually made it. People thought our voice was worth hearing, and Jewish women had a position that was worth hearing. Next slide. And of course, there are key issues for us as Jewish and Australian women. The most important of these has to be supporting the Indigenous community. And this year, we not only signed on to the Uluru Statement of the Heart, but we ran some advocacy training around the Uluru Statement of the Heart and ran a session that was called Talking Justice with Australia's Indigenous women. So much work to be done in all of these areas that I'm going through, so much work. On interfaith relations, I took part in the annual National Dialogue of Christians and Jews, and it says the Cardinals Conference because I couldn't remember what it was called at the time. This was actually the Catholic Bishops' Conference. You'll again have more detail in the written report. And of course, there were some multicultural relationships where we engaged in various things, including dialogues around ageing and culture, and also with the federal police in terms of providing information about Judaism and issues for Jews in policing. Next slide. So that brings me exhausted, totally exhausted, to the future. Okay, so here are the things we really have to look at. As I said, this has been the most incredible year, but to sustain working at this sort of level, we know that we need more support. We are bringing in more people. We're constantly looking for more people. If you're here and you're not currently playing a role in any organizational way and you'd like to, please make sure that you contact me or any of the other board members, of course. It doesn't have to be me personally. We have to build on the wonderful work the sections are all doing and bring in new members and establish new sections. We've got an interest in a few places where there are no sections to build new sections. We have to build on our reputation as women's activists. We want people to know that our concern is the concern of women, but our concern of women is never separated from our concern as Jewish women and our concern as Australian women. So those things are together the parts of our identity. But beyond that, we have to build on our nearly 100 years of history, working together, the new guard and the old, to help Jewish women to build a just world. Thank you. So I'm not sure whether I meant to ask, but if there's any questions or clarification anyone would like, please, now is the time. Danielle, are you monitoring the chat to make sure that there's nothing? Okay, in that case, I will pass you on to Deborah, who's going to deliver the financial report. Now, sorry.
Negba has a question.
Sorry?
Negba has her hand raised with a question.
Sure, Negba.
Yeah. You might get to this later, but I thought it might have been covered in your report. Excellent report.
Thank you.
Beautifully presented. Can you give me an update on what's happening with the rebranding exercise that was meant to have been implemented?
Yes. Okay. So, you know, it's really hard to write about everything in the report. And one of the things that's happened is that the Australian Jewish funders organised a group called Catch a Fire, which is an amazing American initiative of volunteers from around the world to help not-for-profit organisations. And what they do is they match you with somebody who's got experience in that area, and rather than you having to pay for something like branding, you go to their experts. And so we were just at the point where we were ready to move on, and we got this opportunity to use Catch a Fire for branding. And we have we've actually put the project out. We've got somebody who's working on it. They've come back with a first draft, which may or may not fly. I think it might not, is the way it looks at the moment. The wonderful thing about doing it with Catch a Fire is we can actually have more than one shot and not actually pay anything. The downside is if you don't get the right person, it's going to be much slower. Great glasses, Nick, but they're new glasses. I haven't seen those ones. Can't help it. I'm staring you directly at the screen. So I'm sorry if I didn't tell anyone else they've got great glasses, but I'm sure some of you do. But Nick was fabulous. So the answer is the rebranding method issue is still going forward. And my idea, and, you know, again, I'm really anybody's thoughts about this, is if we can have it ready for 2023 and be ready to launch for the 100th anniversary, that we've got the whole thing ready, that you know, we've got to professionalize for the purpose of getting funding for various things, but we don't need to make final rebranding decisions quickly, as long as we're all working towards it. And now we've got a lot of younger people involved. They're going to have very different ideas, I think, about what we want to do. So that's my feeling, is that if we aim for being ready to unveil it for 2023, what's your thought, Negba, about that?
It certainly, if it's not ready, it's not ready, and you have to do the right thing. I guess the question is Victoria involved? Because the whole idea was that all of National Council would be unified but different. So the same logic, the same philosophy, and then each one have its own individual nature.
Yeah.
And that was the risk with the delays, that you've got an established brand in Victoria
Yeah, but the problem was that nobody else wants to use the Victorian brand. So the only way we can move on is by coming up with something different. That's where the problem was. There was was absolute agreement that people didn't want to use Victoria's branding, which is, I suppose disappointing on one level, but it tells something about the way people want their identity to be displayed, which is legitimate.
I look forward to seeing the outcome.
Look, it's going to be, we have to bring everybody with us, like, I don't want to say I like this or even we as a board like this. Obviously we need everybody as much as possible. I mean, we're not going to get 100% agreement on something like branding, but hopefully we'll have everybody happy as we go along.
Good. I look forward to it. Thank you.
I can see Risha.
Yeah. I'd like to ask, what is the progress with the Sylvia Goldman Foundation, please?
Okay, so the new board looked at the Sylvia Goldman Foundation and decided that we could not manage to set up a new entity at this point of time because we're not having enough trouble managing the existing entity. And so basically, nothing's really happened with it at all. Nothing's not happened, but nothing's happened. There's been no progress at this point of time. I did meet with Harriet, who promised me, of course, that she would continue to develop, to provide the things that she still hasn't provided around the DGR status. The problem with the Sylvia Goldman was that if we put energy into getting the Sylvia Goldman going, it would actually become our main preoccupation because we don't have solid foundations in all the other areas that we're working in at the moment. We're rebuilding in so many areas. I did speak with, I think, Negba and Di quite early in the piece, and we were going to talk again and we just haven't. So the answer is it's in abeyance at the moment. There has not been a decision not to do anything, but there has been a decision to put it on hold at the moment, at this point. It can come back on the agenda anytime that anyone wants it to, though.
Okay, thank you.
So now we'll move on to Deborah, and if Deborah wants to share her screen, we'll have the financial report.
Thank you.
Sorry, can I just say, I think Allah has put a link to the financial report in the chat. So if anyone did not get it before, it's available there, because what you're going to get now is only a very brief snapshot.
So I've got, sorry, hello everyone. It says here host disabled participant screen sharing.
Sorry, just give me 1 second. Now you'll be able to.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
And excellent, thank you. I'll just make this a little bit bigger. So hello everyone and welcome. Can you see all that? It's sort of like, yeah. Is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
So hello everyone, my name is Deborah Lashinsky and I'm the treasurer, and I just wanted to say before I start, oh, there's all these people wanting to come in. Do I just admit them? Sorry. Or are you admitting them, Danielle? Sorry.
Yeah, just ignore everything.
Okay.
Just focus on you.
Yeah, great. So I just wanted to say thank you so much to the Finance Committee, which consists of Melinda and Karen and Danielle, our Zoom master. And yeah, it's just a wonderful committee. And yeah, we'll just go ahead with a few slides that I want to show you. 1 second, if I can. Yep. Maybe not. Okay, so this is just the formality. There are special purpose financial statements that have been prepared for the purpose of complying with the Corporations Act. The requirements to prepare and distribute financial statements to the members of the National Council of Jewish Women of Australia, and the directors have determined that the accounting policies adopted are appropriate to meet the needs of the members of the National Council of Jewish Women of Australia. So that's just basic standard. So can everyone see that? I hope you can see that. If you can't, you can see it on the screen of that the Zoom master put up, or Allah. So the National Council of Jewish Women's end of financial report, we've got a beginning balance of 274,000. The income for the last year, deposits was 42,000, expenses 23,000, with an ending cash balance of 17,965. And we have an ending balance of the 31st of March is 295,000. So above is the Treasurer's report, and it resulted in a profit of 152,000. So this will all be checked by our honorary accountant called David Jaffe. He's going to check everything with the assistance of a bookkeeper. This is the forecast. Oh, it's a bit cut off from me, so I'll just, yep, they're the figures. They're all in the report. Just some income. Ooh, actually, I think it's been cut off. Yep, sorry, it's been cut off. So if there's any questions, most welcome to just go through income, bank expenses, assets and liabilities, all matching. This is our bank statement as of the 25th of July. That includes the statement account, which is approximately 48,000, Sylvia Gelman Foundation. We've got our 3,500 direct debit, that's our everyday account. The Sylvia Gelman bequest, that's in a term deposit. And we've got another term deposit of 102,000, 127,000, 102,000 is all tied up, waiting for Melinda to spend it on good stuff. And yeah, I think that just brings us to a conclusion. The National Council of Jewish Women is doing a great job, and we have a lot of money in our fund, thanks to our big donor, Sylvia Gelman, and also waiting to maybe open up and have more functions. Okay, that concludes my discussion.
Thank you, Deborah. Can I just make a sort of point of correction? We are not legally obliged to have an audit, our financial reports audited. We are getting them audited anyway, but the statements meet the standard and the accounting standards that are required. The reason that we don't have to get the statements audited is because the government decided that it was ridiculous for not-for-profits, with the sort of number of transactions we have, to spend the sort of money, even with an honorary auditor. They still want you to go through their processes. And so we are going to do it, but I actually am not, I'm not even sure that it's a good idea, just because we've got properly audited accounts. That means there's no reason why these accounts cannot be, they are being presented as is tonight.
Sorry, Melinda, but he, can you hear me?
Yep.
David doesn't audit. He makes it very clear that it's not an audit. It's a review. He's acting here as an accountant. So,
yes, we prepare everything for him, and he doesn't want to do too much because he's in charge of a few shuls and that he wants to do a very minimal work.
Well, he's doing it gratis, but I'm just saying we can't even say that it's been audited because it's not. He's not acting as
that's right. Well, as I said, we don't need to get them audited.
I know.
And we don't need
it.
So what I'm saying is we can vote that these are solid. My issue is we have to actually confirm the financial reports at the AGM. That's the purpose of the AGM. That's the major purpose of the AGM. And there's no reason why they should not be accepted, because they have been done with accounting standards with an accountant. They've all been looked at properly. So
hang on,
question.
Has David gone through these?
No, David hasn't gone through them, but he's not the only accountant in history.
Okay.
I
can't comment. I only received the numbers very late, so I can't comment.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. We have had, yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, of course.
Clarification, please, of the Treasurer. On page 12, where the revenue is listed, I'm trying to marry up the two columns with last year's annual report, and there seem to be a few problems with the lining up.
Yes, there was a bit
clear on the membership, the current membership, the revenue. Is that the 12,000? Can you tell me?
I don't have that in front of me. Just one moment. Danny, is that correct? I think that is correct, isn't
Yes,
it?
the 12,000 is for
12,000
membership.
membership of
Okay.
how many members. I'm not too sure of how many members that is.
So,
That's the different sections.
yeah,
different
so we
sections
need to
of this,
straighten that up because it's very confusing.
Yeah, it was a lot. It's going to be better next time. It's just got to get aligned.
Sure. A point of clarification on that last line where you said there's a difference of $160,426, and I'm not sure where this figure is from. If you look at the previous annual report, you'll see that that exact figure is the amount of the Sylvia Gilman bequest that came into our accounts the year before.
Yep.
That's right, but it's wouldn't normally be reported under revenue because it's not revenue. So the reason the note is there is because it was wrongly reported in the previous report as revenue, and therefore it looked like we'd lost $160,000
Well,
over the 12-month
then
period.
state what that money is from, at least, and not say, I don't know where that money's come from.
Sure.
Is that okay? Just because, you know, we know where it's from, and no, it wasn't revenue, but it was money that came into
Donations.
the organisation.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Di. That's really appreciable.
So now, sorry, I'll go. The next thing on our agenda is the resolutions.
Sorry, I just been speaking on mute. Deborah, would you like to move acceptance of the finance report and the annual report? It's called the annual report and finance report of the same report.
Just accept it.
Yes, would you like to move that it be accepted?
Yes.
Who'd like to second that?
Yes, Janet.
Janet's seconding it. Okay, all in favour? All against? If you are against, please write it in the chat, because that's just to make sure we have.
You can use the reactions. You have a green tick for if you're in favour and a red cross if you're against.
It's really only the sections.
The only people who can vote are the sections, so individuals can't vote. So if sections could please do that, that would be helpful.
We have 5 that have voted.
Well, that's everybody who's here. If there are 5 sections have voted, one person has only voted per each section.
I've got Western Australia, Victoria, New South Wales. Sorry. So I've got 3. I can see 3: Western Australia, Victoria, and New South Wales.
So is someone here from Canberra?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just saying, I presume I'd accept it with the amendment that Di has made, that, you know, it's
That statement be removed. Yes.
here with that Sylvia Gelman. Yeah.
So that means that the resolution is passed. We're doing this crudely because if we actually do the technical way of working out how many votes each section has, once Victoria and New South Wales vote for something, it's passed anyway, but it would be good if we have more unanimous agreement. So the next resolution is with respect to the appointment of the honorary solicitor. And I'd like to move that we appoint Anton Block as the honorary solicitor. Of course, he's accepted that position. I'd like to move that. Is someone happy to second that?
I'm happy to second.
Ella will second that. All in favour of Anton Block being appointed as the honorary solicitor. And again, the voting people are from the states. Danielle, have you seen what's going on there?
Yeah, I can see Western Australia. I can see New South Wales.
Don't know where.
And I can see Canberra, and I can see Victoria.
I think they're the only 4 sections that are currently here.
Yeah.
Deborah, you'd like to move the resolution now?
Yes, move the resolution.
You need to state it.
Just what I move the resolution.
She moves the resolution that David Jaffe be appointed as honorary auditor.
I move the resolution that David Jaffe be appointed as honorary auditor or checking the accounts.
Well, it's honorary auditor. Do we have a seconder?
Yes, I'll
all right. Anita,
I'd say an honorary auditor. Yeah.
Thank you. All those in favour? Again, the 4 sections there.
Yeah.
Okay, we're now moving to the election of directors, and Alla, over to you.
Thank you. Just get your notes up. Okay, so I've received the following nominations for the board. For the nomination of president, I've received a nomination from Melinda Jones. For vice president, we have 2 positions and have received 2 nominations, Janet Merker and Karen Pryor. And for ordinary board director nominations, we've received 8 nominations from myself, Ella Melman, Yara Morris, Judith Leviton, Nikki Marzak, Zahava Heinrich, Hannah Wolin, Julia Sussman, and Deborah Lashinsky. So that would fill all 11 positions that are available on the board.
Okay, and as there are all these positions are unopposed, we declare, Ella, you actually have to declare.
Yeah. As these positions are all unopposed and uncontested, I declare that those 11 people that I've just listed are nominated to the board for 2021.
Thank you very much. Well, is there anything that anyone would like to raise?
Just congratulations to the board for a terrific year and good luck for the coming one. There seem to be a lot of promising young women. Look forward to hearing about it.
Thank you. Maxine, do you want to say something? You've come up on my screen, very big. So.
Oh, no, I just wanted to say that congratulations, and we had a great year last year, and we look forward to, you know, the leadership and the stimulation and the challenge in the new year. Well, there will be many challenges, so we look forward to your guidance as always.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. One of the things I would like, that I hope for the new year, that somehow I just couldn't sort of get together as well as I'd like to, is to be able to harness a bit more the wisdom of the people who are here tonight, who've been part of this organisation and built the organisation. And I don't know whether we could work out some system. We've had various ideas of how people could be involved. And I've had ideas of mentors, mentoring and various things, but maybe I'll call a meeting after the Chagim of just everybody who's been involved in the past who'd like to come involved, and maybe we can brainstorm what the various ways in which we can make that wisdom and that knowledge be really imbued through what we're doing, particularly as we've got now on our board. And congratulations to all those people. But does everyone who's there, as we've got 1 minute, would everybody who's just been elected to the board like to just say hello? I'm going to call people as I see you on my screen. So Alla, say hello.
Hello.
And then I can see Zahava.
Hi everyone, nice to meet you, and I look forward to working with everyone in 2022, 2021.
Yara, you're my next person.
Hi everyone, Yara from WA. I'm excited to continue on this journey.
Julia.
Hi, my name's Julia Sussman. I'm so excited to be working with you guys. We have a big year ahead, so very excited.
Nikki.
Hi everyone, I'm Nikki from Brisbane. Looking forward to working with all of you and to learning from you. Yeah, looking forward to the year ahead.
And Judith, where are you? She disappeared. I can't see her.
It won't let me add her as a spotlight.
No, here I am. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Take me off, Danielle. Unspotlight me.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hi. Hi, that's better. We've pinned you up. Lovely to have you on board.
Hi, I'm Judith from Sydney, from New South Wales. Very excited to be part of this organisation.
And then we've got Deborah.
Hello, everyone. Deborah Lashinsky again. I just hope that this year is so much better than the last year and the whole world opens up and everyone can travel.
And get away from NCJWA. I know that's what she's thinking.
No.
Never, never, never. Okay, and then we've got Karen.
Hi, I'm Karen Pryor from Brisbane. I'm very excited to be working with my colleague Janet Merker as the other Vice President and supporting Melinda as National President.
And Janet, last of all.
Hi everyone, what a wonderful board, what a wonderful President and Vice President. Karen, thank you very much. I look forward to meeting with all of you and succeeding in what we want to do in this complex world for women.
Here.
Thank you all, and it's going to be so exciting. You'll see that we've possibly got the most diverse board in the history of the world. We've got, you know, amongst women, we've got women in their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s. Well, we haven't got anyone in their 70s. I'm sorry, we might need to adopt somebody as a mascot. And of course, we've got some women in their 70s who are wonderful to have involved anyway. I've also got some other people who are committee members who've already committed to being involved in committees as well. So this is going to be amazing, amazing year.
All right, I'm going to let everybody in for the next part of our evening.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for the AGM. And of course, we hope you're staying now for the rest.
Thank you.
I'm going to put some hot water in my kettle, in my tea.
No, you're not. I'll bring you some in shortly.
Well done, Zoom Master.
Yes, thank you very much, Danielle. It really is appreciated.
That's what I'm trying to do.
You're on mute.
While everyone's coming in, why don't we just see where we've got anybody? Do we have anybody here from, let me see, Camaray in Sydney?
Yeah, that's me.
We do indeed. Do we have anyone from Elstonwick in Melbourne? Yes, some people from Elstonwick. Do we have anyone from Bondi? Can't see anybody. Do we have anybody from Rose Bay? Do we have anybody from Caulfield? Yes, some people from Caulfield. I got some right. Come on, people, help me with suburbs. Do we have any? I don't know. Mount Lawley. Do we have anyone here from Mount Lawley? That's in Perth. Yeah. Okay. Anyone from other places? Where are you from?
Port Melbourne.
Port Melbourne. Fantastic.
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem. Fantastic. Lovely to have you.
I'm a Patonga. I'm a Patonga in the Central Coast.
Oh, fantastic. Wonderful. That's fantastic.
Geneva.
Oh, Geneva, hello. Hi, Mary. You see, we're talking to our people from around the world and sharing what we're doing. And so it's so lovely that we have our friends from around the world joining us.
I'm from New Zealand, from Christchurch.
Wow.
Fantastic.
I'm from Aspendale Gardens in Melbourne.
Fantastic. Aspendale Gardens.
Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah, but
it's not near Caulfield.
It's not near Caulfield.
No,
okay.
A long way from Caulfield.
Fantastic. Well, I think that we need to explore more of the whole world and find out where people are that aren't in Caulfield. I've never lived in Caulfield myself, but you know, one can always aspire.
Yes, that's for sure.
Hello, my name's Kayla. I'm from Brisbane, but I'm currently in lockdown in Sydney because I got trapped here and I can't go home.
Oh, we're very glad to have all lockdown captives are very welcome at our events. If you're, and in fact, we've just been asked to house a lockdown refugee, somebody who can't get back to South Australia and whose rent's run out, can't get back to South Australia because the borders are closed. Wow. So everyone be kind to COVID refugees.
I'm from Johannesburg in South Africa.
Oh, Bev, how wonderful. Just, gee, this is amazing.